Hello and welcome to a video from Couch Coop, and we're looking at this Tiny Tina Wonderland one shot at the Wonderland. Okay, now let me break this down. This is obviously a plug for their new game that's coming out at some point mid-year, I think. So this is basically that Tiny Tina DLC that we saw come out on the PlayStation 4 on Borderlands 2. It's actually one of the best bits of DLC from Borderlands 2. There was 3 bits and this one was one of the best. Now, first thing we need to do is check out what the hell they've done with the default controller. Look, you've got the fire buttons all mixed up. It's not your traditional Borderlands system. That is kind of just the start of quite a few things you need to be doing to get the most out of your couch co-op experience with this particular game. Now, this is available free on the PlayStation Network under the PlayStation 4 section. So if you own a 5, you can still download the free PlayStation 4 game with your subscription. This is very interesting because this comes with no PlayStation 5 enhancement, which is obvious because we're accessing this content through what the system thinks is the PlayStation 4, but it's really good that it runs on a 5. So just so we're clear on this is not Tiny Tina's Wonderlands or anything to do with it. It is just the Assault on Dragon's Keep DLC that came out on Borderlands 2 for the PlayStation 4. It's standalone, don't need the base game, and it retails at about 8 quid, 9 quid is what I saw. The cost of it would be without the PlayStation access. Once you've gone into the options and got that vertical split sorted out, if they're in a vertical split, I am likely to lose my shit, as I say, and it was there, thank God. But we did not see any performance / fidelity options, which you got to see on the Pro. I'm so sure that Borderlands 2 on the PlayStation 4 Pro had that option, but there are no performance toggles. I'm pretty sure it's a PEG 30. I'm 100% sure that it's a PEG 60 when the screen isn't split, because when I upload this video I look at the properties and the size of this thing means that it's not a straight 1080 either. There may be some super sampling or scaling in it, and of course a variable frame rate which adjusts when things get busier. But it's smooth, it's good, it's blatantly an older game, and it's blatantly a PlayStation 4 game, but it's really great for us PlayStation 5 owners to have access to this because that DLC came out a very, very long time ago, thinking about it. If you own a base level PlayStation 4 or PlayStation Pro or PlayStation 5 and don't have Borderlands 2 in your library, you might have got into Borderlands 3, which is totally understandable. This is a free option now to go and really delve into some of the cooler stuff that was in Borderlands 2. The writing on this Tiny Tina campaign is impeccable and the comedy is sky high. The characters, there's a unicorn that shits out rare weapons, and there's some villains in it that will make you laugh out loud. Some of that writing team or some of the cool guys that were around for Borderlands 1 and 2 weren't present for a lot of the content that was produced for Borderlands 3, and this is kind of the sort of golden era for Gearbox and Randy. They kind of couldn't do anything wrong back then. It was a very different time, let's say.
What do you want? Tell me what you want. For you to fight back.
Word of warning, this campaign has a very fiddly intro and quite a lot of stipulations and mini quests and side quests to actually get to the meat, the cool bit, which of course is entering the dark forest and making friends with some of the crazy NPCs that are in the castles. There's a big dragon in it. You go on a rescue mission at one point. It's a very diverse and cool story that gives a lot of angles and nods, right, to loads of other video games, board games, D&D. The geekery is sky high with the dialogue and content of this campaign. I just want to talk about the whole Borderlands hierarchy because we had the original Borderlands 1 remastered and pumped out about a year ago, I think, and of course we have Borderlands 3, not too much great DLC with that, but when it comes to Borderlands 2 and looking back on the whole series and how big it was over a period of time against all of that DLC that they sort of released systematically, it was paid for, but it was huge and there was a lot to do in there. I really miss those years and I hope Gearbox get back to giving us that really rich content. I'm just showing you that you can leave any point in the game without disrupting player one's progress. That's really handy. A lot of games won't allow the second player to come in at any given time. With this, it is anywhere, but you of course will see an increase in enemy damage, output, all that scaling exists. And it will be 4-player. Of course it will be local co-op 4-player, and of course we're still in February, so I still get the chance to test that.
Why choose an honorable weapon when you could buy a gun?
What I'm trying to say here is not only is this one of the best pieces of DLC to ever come out of the whole Borderlands series, it's free for the month of February, it's full-on couch co-op up to 4-player, and you don't need the base game to playlist. This is heaven, really, for anybody who's not got experience with any of these games. And of course it's online, so you can all get in and enjoy it at no extra cost.
Blam! Girl looks like she got a problem.
Looter shooters as a genre have also gone through a large amount of change since this game came out, thinking about things like Outriders and Anthem as well, which was also billed as a supposed looter shooter. We may have peaked with this area. The writing, the comedy and the characters seems so strong, and it's just not the case with a lot of the new material, especially with the people that we're looking at in this canon. They just seem rolled out to be familiar and not have enough depth written behind them when it comes to their side quests or their little campaigns. With this, everything is so rich, even just starting up and burning down those balloons and going to the tavern for the first time, and the funny little nuances with Tina forgetting to put in certain character models, or even just changing the plot on the fly. It's a very clever idea. You get that when you enter the Black Forest, is it all looks tranquil and amazing, and then Tina just pipes up and changes it into a living nightmare. That's the sort of stuff I enjoy. I suppose I should talk about the game itself. For anybody who's just clapping eyes on all of this for the first time, Borderlands kind of carved itself out as the best first-person looter shooter on the market, and it held that throne for half a decade. That's not even mentioning the whole thing being accessible on a split-screen 3-player, 4-player and 2-player level, and everything was there. There was nothing taken aback from you being an additional player, like infantry issues or any lesser enjoyment from the content. It was all equal and all down the middle. That is something that's rarely done now with AAA games, and you've only got to look at Gears 5 and Borderlands 3 are kind of the last bastions for a game being available to play on a split screen couch co-op level in its entirety from start to finish. Even Gears 5 shies quite a bit of content away from you when it comes to the Horde material, which was just no need for that. But the whole Borderlands thing, everything there the whole way through. And when Borderlands 3 came out, I was genuinely concerned that they weren't going to put split screen in, and they didn't put the vertical in. That took a while. You're probably aware of my bigger lists. Borderlands is always at the top of them.
This is unacceptable! Chase him down!
That issue with the vertical and horizontal split with Borderlands 3 was very quickly updated, patched and sorted.
You enter the Forest of Tranquility!
Tranquility. Boring.
I'm going to be putting links in the description to all of my Borderlands content, and this month I'm finally going to be testing Borderlands 3 on the PlayStation 5 with 4-player split, needing 4 PlayStation 5 pads. That's a £200 bill on top of the game cost, and I've got to get another 2 people over. It's going to be a big one, but I'm desperate to test it. I want Dirt 5 on that as well, because I'm really keen to see if that PlayStation 5 can handle a nice 4-window split, which I'm pretty sure it can, especially with older games like this, and even newer games like Borderlands 3. I've been Couch Coop, ladies and gentlemen. See you there!